Men and women in general tend to make different decisions in terms of the careers they're attracted to, the qualifications that they're drawn towards. They make different decisions with regard to work-life balance, family, career priorities, just general drive towards career advancement as well. I think in general there are differences.
I'm absolutely astonished. That is not what the gender pay gap is. The gender pay gap is not about women doing different jobs from men or any kind of 1950s notion like that. The gender pay gap is about women doing the same job as men and getting paid less. That is the gender pay gap. Now, you cannot have women sitting on one side of a desk doing the same job as a man sitting on the other side of a desk and, you know, say men and women are different, therefore they should get less money. That is the problem, and that is what we're addressing. We're not saying, you know, if one person does one job, you know, it's the same as another job. We're saying two people doing the same job should get the same amount of money.
I mean, that's fascinating. I think your response to me there was absolutely scathing, and yet I think you completely misunderstand what the gender pay gap is. It's been the law for a long time that you cannot pay people differently for doing the same job.
And yet it exists.
Hang on, because they're male or female. The gender pay gap is to do with differences in average salaries across all full-time workers and in different sectors.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. So I'm sorry to say that I think you misunderstood the issue there. I think
why is it people always say that someone has misunderstood the issue
because your explanation of it was incorrect. That's
women in the workplace, you can take it on average, you can take it on individual salaries, whatever. Women in the workplace should be paid the same as men. So that would average out. Wait a minute, I'm not finished. Wait a minute. That would average out. That would average out the same. The average salary for women should be exactly the same as the average salary for men, because women do not do different jobs from men. They do the same jobs, is my point. Therefore, the average salary should be the same. The basic salary, the average salary, the actual salary should be the same.
Right, that is just point blank factually incorrect. Men and women do not do the same jobs. There are more men in the... Of course, sorry, stupid on me. Everyone knows in the infantry, everyone knows the infantry is 50-50 male and female. Everyone knows midwives are 50-50 male and female. Everyone knows engineers are 50-50. No, they're not. Men and women choose different careers.
Oh, my goodness.
Are you disagreeing with that?
Yeah, and what I'm saying
is... It's just staggering.
You know, you get male nurses on ward, you know.
Yes, I know.
You get female doctors.
Again, you're arguing with a straw man again. I didn't suggest otherwise.
Well, you quoted midwives and things. And what I am saying is that we live in a society where we encourage men and women to think along the same lines in terms of careers. We want more women in engineering. This nonsense about men and women wanting to do, that's a hangover from a past age.
No, it's not.
That's a hangover from a past time. Men and women are perfectly entitled to do the same thing. Do you know they have female astronauts nowadays? We even have a female prime minister. Good grief. Surely that's a man's job.
This is a staggering response. I mean, your response there was incredibly... I mean, just way off the mark. You were arguing with things nothing like what I'd said. Of course women...
I said women are entitled to be whatever they want.
If you just let me finish what I'm saying.
Okay.
Of course, women can choose to do anything they like. I mean, that's been the situation for decades. But for biological reasons, men and women tend to choose different careers. Men and women are different. They have different priorities. They tend to have different interests. Now, you may try to claim that's to do with the patriarchal society, but I think that is untrue. If that's the case, how come they've been uniform through history, through cultures, through nations around the world now? And even in the countries, with the most liberal countries like the Scandinavian countries, where there's every free choice to study what they like, in those countries, the gender divisions in careers can be stronger than in other countries. It's still men and women, just in general, tend to be drawn to different types of work. What's the problem?
So, what is the problem? Well, for many, the problem is that they believe that men and women would be identical in their personalities, interests, priorities, and ambitions if it wasn't for our sexist society that creates these distinctions by treating males and females differently. Now, that's the belief that you'll find expressed in gender studies departments at university. But it's not the view you'll find expressed in science departments. Here's a quick quote from Simon Baron-Cohen, a professor of psychology at Cambridge University. Here we go. The female brain is predominantly hardwired for empathy. The male brain is predominantly hardwired for understanding and building systems. Now, our politics, our political parties are utterly dominated by the unscientific gender studies view, not by the scientific view. Why is this? I think part of it is the mistaken view that in order to combat prejudice and discrimination, the only way to do that is to believe that men and women are absolutely identical. But that's completely unnecessary. It's not logical. Okay, to quote Steven Pinker, again, another professor of psychology from Harvard University, he says this: no one has to spin myths about the indistinguishability of the sexes to justify equality. And that's right. There are two problems with this mission to eliminate the distinctions between the sexes. One problem is that it will fail. And the other problem is that a lot of damage could be done in the meantime as the people attempt to subvert human nature.